Welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros. I'm here with my boys. We're excited to talk about sports. Of course, I'm back in my hometown right now, Cali. Everybody else is back out there in Washington, but we got some good topics to talk about today. First of all, let's talk about some stats that we going into the NBA. Man, I seen Kevin Durant play his first game, and very impressed with that Suns team. I know it was against a team that doesn't have much to play for, supposedly, but I'm ready to watch them play against some better teams and see where it goes from there, guys. So let's talk.
Let's do it. Throw it down, man.
You're the one with the stats, Alan. You go first.
Oh, you want me to
Yeah,
break it off? Okay,
break it
all
I don't
right,
out.
here
even
we
know what
go,
we're
guys.
talking
Yeah.
about.
So I just want to say a couple of things real quick about the season so far and what we talked about last week and how especially you KJ we're saying, and I agreed with you as far as if he was truly hurt. um Giannis is back. And the one thing that really has been impressive for me is that they actually won. What they win 2 or 3 games while he was out, and one of those games was it against Boston just earlier this week?
Let me double check.
He
Oh
said
yeah, it
out.
was. Yeah, they beat Boston.
I think he said
Okay, and that was without Giannis, and now
out.
he's back and looking like like he never missed a beat. And one of the things that I really want to stress about that team is Holiday is looking like he did that last year he was at UCLA when they went to the Final Four, man. And we were all talking. Everybody, especially he talks about how Williams is the key to uh, Boston. In the postseason, I think Holiday is going to be a big part of how far that team goes this year. They're firing on all cylinders. They've taken over the number one spot in the conference. I mean, come on now, those are some numbers for you guys right
That's,
there. But what I
that's very
really want to
impressive.
get into,
Very,
what's that, man?
so that's very impressive because I didn't think when Giannis. Remember, like I was talking last week, when Giannis was hurt, and I wanted to see somebody step up from that team. They proved me wrong. Now that Holiday actually stepped up for the regular, they have a big chance now. So we got
And
to see.
and he also got some help from Lopez. Lopez actually had a couple of really good games, and he's actually led that team in scoring like a handful of times in the last couple of weeks too.
Can I ask,
Even when Giannis was on the court. So they're getting play from they're getting significant contributions from guys that you wouldn't normally expect it from, but guys that actually did a lot of good things for them when they won the championship a few years back. So
Uh,
was
watch out for Milwaukee. Watch out for Milwaukee.
Amos, one thing before you go, they beat the Celtics before the All Star break. The three teams they beat when Giannis was gone was the Bulls, who suck, the Heat, who suck, and Phoenix without KD.
yeah, and
So
that's
not the
the thing.
Celtics.
Over the years, the Celtics and Bucks have kind of swing back and forth. They just know each other's style. I was also going to ask that last game: was it in Boston or Milwaukee? I'm gonna guess Milwaukee. Or
I think it was in Boston, wasn't it?
It
No,
was in Milwaukee.
It was in
okay,
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
so to play I think just a small bit. Great win, especially without Giannis. It's a great win for
No, he
Milwaukee.
did play. Giannis played.
Hey, Amos. So I think Boston's got the best away record in the league, though.
You know
Yeah,
who's
for
got
sure.
the worst, or damn near close to the worst? Damn Grizzlies.
Grizzlies, yeah.
We're not talking about the Grizzlies though,
I'm
bro.
just saying, I'm tired of that team. They're
All right,
20,
so
21 and
so
3 at
that's
home, and then like 10 and 21 on the road. They
So,
suck.
so did Giannis? So did Milwaukee beat the Celtics with or without Giannis? Then
With
Right.
Giannis.
they beat him with them.
It-
So
He said it
Giannis,
was
but
last week
but
before the All Star break.
but
okay,
yeah, Giannis played, but Drew Holiday had 40.
okay.
that's a big help. So what did you guys? Did you guys all watch
So
Kevin Durant
so
play?
so
Oh
I
yeah,
got a
that's what
little
Alan
I got
wanted
a
to get
little bit
into.
of analytics for you guys. First of all, I want to address Amos because we got into it a little bit about McCollum last week. And so I you know, and it just
No,
I
that
wasn't
was
really
me.
looking for anything.
That was
I wasn't
KJ.
really looking
That was
for
KJ.
anything, but it just kind of popped up, and then so I started looking through it, you know. And this is just some analytics for you, bro. He's a great regular season player, but when it comes to the postseason, his numbers dip significantly, like almost 3-point difference in scoring. You know, he's never really been a facilitator because he is a shooting guard, but you know, everybody, you know, you guys were talking about he was a big part of that team going to the finals that year that they lost to was it the Warriors?
Yeah.
Oh, the
What's the-
Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, the Western Conference Finals. Was it that year? And then they get swept.
Yes.
And you know, everybody wants to put all the blame on Dame, but you know, Dame came to play. He showed up for that series, and nobody else did. And that's basically all I was really trying to say about that whole situation is that he gets no help. You know,
So-
he's consistent all year long, and then when it comes to the postseason, everybody just kind of folds on that team.
So just to be clear, Alan, you got actually into it with KJ about CJ McCollum. I think you and I
was
got
it KJ? It wasn't you?
Yeah.
All right, that's all right, man. I'm sorry. I apologize.
we all
But
get into so many arguments, man. Especially the guy. Yeah, you know who I'm talking to, man. So it's hard to remember the argument, you know.
All right. I'll try to keep it straight. I'll keep a little tab from now on.
KJ,
But
we-
KJ, that is all I had to really say about that. And you know, I mean, look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing now. He's scoring now, but that team isn't winning anything. If he was such a significant part of anybody's game plan, you would think that he could actually, like you said, be a leader and actually kind of carry that team, because there's talent minus Williamson. There's talent on that team minus Williamson.
What I want to say to that is that when we were talking about how Damian Lillard has led a team, and you said he's a great leader, and I said, what does he led him to? And I said that in 2018 they lost to the Pelicans in the first round. If you look at it, CJ McCollum averaged 25 points to Dame's 18 that playoff series, and they got swept, and they were the 1 seed.
Yeah, but
CJ performed. Dame didn't.
But let me tell you, that year that they went to the Western Conference Finals, Dame did everything he could in his. He only had if you actually look at it, he had one good series, and that was against the Nuggets. He didn't show up against the Warriors.
Who did?
McCollum. Yeah, he didn't show up.
And look at
what year was that?
And Dame beat OKC
that was
by
2 years ago. 3 years ago.
That was over 2 years ago, because wasn't KD on the team?
It was 3 years ago. The year before the bubble. So that was what, 2019?
Yeah, and he took that team all the way to the Western Conference Finals on his back.
But KJ, you're talking about one season that he actually did something. How many times has Dame led that team?
He has, but I'm saying, where has he led it? He's led it. I give Jokic crap. I can't just give Jokic crap for playing like shit in the playoffs when Dame has had them. Yeah, they haven't done the best to put the best pieces around him, but who wants to go to Portland? They've done their best to put pieces around him, and he still has only gotten to one Western Conference Finals.
But like we talk about,
and if you're talking about that series against Golden State, there was no KD actually, and
yeah, bro. But there's three other Hall of Famers on that team.
I know. No, what I'm saying is I was wrong. There's no KD. But if you look at that series, Dame averaged 22.3 and CJ averaged 22. It was a 0.3 difference. You guys act like CJ McCollum is this bad player. He was shooting what? He shot 35 from 3.
No.
They were getting blown out in the fourth quarter.
Okay, but you're making it seem like Dame was the only contributor when CJ contributed 0.3 less points.
Can you say something here?
He contributed literally 1 less point that series. Dame contributed 89 points that 4-game series, and CJ McCollum contributed 88.
You're talking about one series, though, bro.
These are the two series you guys bring up.
Series.
These are the two series.
Who's been the leader of that team?
He's been the leader of the team, but where has he led them?
To Western Conference Finals.
One.
No.
The same as many as Luka. To one in how many years?
Hey, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard now.
It's hard. I'm gonna tell you right now. If that man ever does take that team to the finals and wins it, he is gonna be the real GOAT.
So
Not
if it's
Jordan.
so hard, if it's so
LeBron,
hard, if it's so
Batman.
hard, why do people talk shit about LeBron when he moved to the West that he
Because he
chose the
moved.
easier conference?
Look at the loyalty that Dame had compared to LeBron. LeBron had to move to win a championship, guys. Get that right.
That has
Don't
nothing
put
to
that-
do with
Don't
it.
put that
That's
same-
not what I'm
Don't
saying.
put that same.
That's
no,
not
hold
what
on.
I'm saying.
KJ,
It's not
don't
about the
put that
championship.
same- Hold
It's not
on.
about the
Don't put
championship.
Don't put that same on Dame. Dame has been loyal to his city.
No.
He could have left
What-
anywhere if he wanted to.
No,
And
what
he
I'm
didn't
saying is, if you're saying it's so hard to win to get to another Western Conference Finals in the West, why do
Because
people
he has
get,
nobody.
What are you
LeBron had
talking
somebody
about?
playing with them. Who has Dame had
did-
to get
who
to the
did-
Western Conference Finals?
who
every
did he
year.
have when he went to the Western
Name the
Conference
best
Finals?
players that he's had every year to get him to the Western Conference Finals. And name the players that LeBron has had.
To the
How
Western
many
Conference
times
Finals.
How many times LeBron take Cleveland to the
Yeah.
Eastern
In the
Conference
East.
Finals?
In
No,
the
lose.
East.
And then how many
Hold on.
besides? Okay,
And
besides
had
look
nobody.
at
It
this.
had
Look at this.
nobody.
Listen,
In the
besides
East.
And had
besides
nobody.
the first year when there was
The West.
Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and a bunch of bums, and then the year
And
the next year they won the championship with AD. LeBron has been injured every year since then.
To me,
I don't really put the Lakers in that category of having, not having the resources to have players. Cleveland
that's
didn't have
why-
the resources to put players together, and he literally put that team on his back and dragged them through the postseason from the second year that he was in the league until he left
I mean,
Cleveland.
to me, that's why I don't like having Dame and LeBron even in the same category.
You can't really put them in that same conversation. I will give Dame credit. He's accomplished a lot, and I give him kudos for staying in Portland, which he could have left that team 6-7 years ago. Excuse me the language.
And let's be honest. Let's be honest too, though. Like to your guys' point, like CJ McCollum, I really like CJ. But yeah, he's really been you guys wouldn't say he's an elite second option, right? And so for me, that's basically his best wingman. Obviously, you had LaMarcus Aldridge, but he didn't even have LaMarcus Aldridge for that long, right? So
no, he didn't.
And then what's been his third best option? Either Wesley Matthews, who left a few years back, or the big man.
They all
Jared
left the same year.
Wesley-
All his starters left the same year. LaMarcus Aldridge, Nicholas Batum, Wesley Matthews, and whoever their center was. He was the only starter that stayed.
Yeah, so then to that point though, it's like it's just Colum, and then you have the center. How do you say it? Jurek? How do you say his name?
Jokic.
Nurkic.
So I mean, he just really had
this whole year.
Portland. I mean, and then that's what I said. I don't like comparing LeBron and him because again, Portland is a franchise that's just you need homegrown talent to typically win. LeBron, LA is back comparison one. If you want to compare it to Cleveland, sure. And so it's like, yeah, Cleveland had a superstar, and you had a team. You had someone, Efren. I know you don't want to hear this, but he did take him to the finals before he had to move. So yeah, to your point, he did have to move to win, but he also took those teams to the finals, and he didn't really have a lot of talent. I think it's a bad comparison, Dame.
Okay, guys.
No.
So
You're absolutely right, but I got one more thing that I want to bring up because I was completely blown away when I saw this, and it was on I want to say it was on NBA Today yesterday, and because and Amos knows I'm the biggest hater of Kevin Durant there is in the universe, because I think he's worse than LeBron, because he had that team on the ropes and then turned around and goes to that team the next year, so but. You guys, Amos and KJ, you're always talking about analytics and efficiency, and the thing that popped up, and I never really kind of considered this because nobody ever really thinks of the mid range game as being that vital, but Kevin Durant is the only player that has shot 57% or above in the mid-range game in the history of the league. No one else has ever done that. 50 said he shot 60% twice, and he's only taken more than 20 shots a game 3 times in his career, and that fool his career average is like 28 points a game with less than 20 shots a game.
And that's the thing, Alan. Like, that's a great stat to bring up, and I don't think I certainly didn't know about that stat. But I think we all.
What was the entire stat?
Yeah, the entire stat is no player other than him has shot 57% or better in the mid-range game, and he's done it 3 times. He's the only player to do that.
Okay.
57%, but he shot 57%, and then he's done it 3 times, and the other 2 times he shot 60% from mid-range.
Yeah.
And the thing that blows me away is that he's only averaged more than 20 shots a game 3 times a year. Dude been in the league 14 seasons. 14 seasons and averaging almost nearly 30 points a game.
Okay, but his first 3 years he played with a shot Chuck Westbrook. Then the next years he played with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Then the next years he plays with James Harden and Kyrie. Of course, he's not going to take that many shots. It's not that impressive.
Who was considered the leader of those teams, bro? All I'm saying is that
he was never a leader. That's why people give him crap.
No.
Steph.
No, but who was considered the leader of those teams? Even Steph said that those teams were Durant's teams.
No,
those were Durant's teams.
Yes, even Steph said it, bro.
All 3 of those.
Steph said when he was there, that was his team.
I will find the video and get the information that I saw proving that wrong, and I will show it to you guys on another date. Okay. Give me the time. But I know for a fact.
Okay, we'll save it for another day. There's still a lot of season left. We still got a whole month and a half before the playoffs start. So
Amos wanted to say something.
All I wanted to say was that's pretty impressive, man. I mean, you know me. I'm always the naysayer when you start throwing analytics, but I think that's pretty damn impressive for a guy that shoots jumpers most of the time.
Yep. No, I would actually more agree with you. I get KJ's point. He's basically trying to say, well, if he didn't need a bunch of shots, so 57% isn't as impressive if he was the lone guy per se. But I still agree with you.
57% isn't impressive. I'm saying that the stat of he's only shot above 20 times, 3 times or whatever. That's not impressive because he plays with teams where there's other scorers, other great.
Bro, what's his career average?
Last year, who did his career average? Kyrie got hurt. James Harden got hurt.
Wait, last year?
What's his career average?
For 4 games. He had to take over for 4 games.
Average?
So did LeBron. LeBron had to take over for 3 games. It doesn't.
What's his career average, bro? Come on.
I'm just saying.
You got it.
Hold on.
Even. I mean, he's the only player that's ever done that. Only player in the history of the league.
Melo was 2% off in 2008. It's 2%. He was 55%.
Melo's arguably one of the best mid-range shooters in the game, though. I mean,
that's how he made his career. That's how he scored all of his points.
That's why I looked him up. But what were you saying, Amos?
No, but I was also going to say, though, just to I know we're kind of jumping back and forth with topics. And you'll have to look it up on a different day, though.
How many shots did Melo have to take to get there, though?
Well, hold on. I'll look it up. But
how many shots did he take a game? Look at this. What are his career stats here? Let's see. Career. He's a 27.3 career score, 27.3 score, and shooting less than 20 shots a game. That's some efficiency, bro. That's some efficiency. 27.3 points a game.
Amos is trying to say something.
Yeah, Amos is trying to say something.
See, Alan knows that I'm getting ready to side with KJ, so he doesn't want to let me talk. So what I was going to say was no, but I actually do tend to agree with KJ's thinking as far as to who was the leader on those teams. Because I think there was some back and forth. Now, hear me out, Alan. Not Alan, Efren. Hear me out. There was some back and forth. And so to me, it was Steph, because you have to remember, even Draymond said it himself, right? like, we didn't need you to come over here and win it. We were already doing it before you, right? You heard Draymond say that. Draymond did say,
Yeah, but the
hey,
thing is, they couldn't. Let's be honest. They lost that series 3-1 to LeBron.
To Cleveland because he
Cleveland,
got
LeBron with
hurt,
Kyrie.
bro.
Yeah. And
Because who got hurt?
No,
Durant.
Durant wasn't part of that series.
No,
He was
no.
on OKC. He blew his
That's
own
the year that
3-1
they
lead.
beat. That's the one
Right.
that they beat Durant, and they came back and lost in the 3-1 to LeBron. That same year is the year that
Mr.
LeBron
Efficient
lost.
was up
Talking
3-1
about
on Golden
when
State.
he was in
But the
Miami.
thing is,
No,
so how
no.
can
The
Draymond
second year, the first year.
say that? Hold on. How could Draymond say that when he knew they needed KD because LeBron had them beat that year? If LeBron was, when you added a third shooter to that team, that
So,
made it an unstoppable
This
team.
is a lose
That
lose
made
for
it
you.
an unstoppable
This is a
team.
lose for you, Efren. So either
How?
A, the only reason why the Cavs won is because Draymond got ejected, or B,
Draymond-
hold
because
on,
look at
Amos,
the dirty
or
play he did. Look at the dirty play he did.
okay. So then that means the second option is you're admitting that LeBron's greatness brought him back from 3-1.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, I just wanted to hear
I
that.
I see stuff, but he ain't no GOAT. Like I said, it is a lose. But you look at it. If it wasn't so, that means KD is better than LeBron. Because
I'm
who's
gonna
the only
find
team
that
can
video.
who's the only player that can beat LeBron?
Who's the
KD.
only player getting double and triple
KD.
team in that playoffs?
KD. KD can score over anybody. It don't matter who.
Obviously, he couldn't score over. He couldn't score over the Celtics last year.
Look what he
Couldn't
was
score over
doing.
Jaylen Brown.
Look at what he was doing. What are you talking about?
Bro was scared to shoot. Shot 7 shots one game last year in the playoffs.
You even know in your guys' head that if we put LeBron against KD, KD can outscore him like nothing.
Okay, but you put LeBron against Jordan, he's just going to bully him to the rim. That doesn't
No,
mean
he's
a
not.
better player.
No, he's not.
That doesn't mean he's a better player.
I have to
disagree
disagree with that though, because I think if they were both in their prime, I don't think that he wouldn't dominate him like he probably would now.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
At
the same time, you gotta.
I want to see Durant's field goal percentage against Giannis, because that is the best defensive player in the league. That's his height, his size, his position, and guards him. Because
go ahead, Amos.
Well, no, I mean, I just think at the end of the day, too, we have to understand, too, a lot of these arguments are going to be semantics, okay? So we're talking about KD, Braun. To me, there's no argument who's the better player, and it shouldn't be. Everyone knows Braun is the better player. But to your point, Efren, KD, everyone says James Harden is the scoring guy, right? He's the best scorer in the league. But before him, everyone was saying it was KD, right? KD got hurt the last few years, and afterwards it was James Harden. So to me, that's just KD's thing. And so you could argue, yeah, KD's a better scorer than LeBron. But imagine LeBron in his prime as a young guy. He was arguably one of the best two-way defenders, two-way players, I should say, we've ever seen, right? So he's gonna be super physical with KD. And I just think, yeah, KD, that's his game. He's gonna be pulling up, shooting over guys because of his long wingspan, right? But Braun would make him work in his prime. And if we're going the other way around, Braun's going to bully KD. KD's he's always been a slight frame, right? And so I just think it's to say KD is going to outscore LeBron isn't like breaking news. I'm not calling you out, Efren, because I can kind of agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you in a sense, but I'm just saying we're arguing semantics because at the end of the day, we all know KD is one of the best scorers to ever play the game, right? So he's going to score over anybody, and that's LeBron included. But LeBron's going to make him work.
What would you say, Efren? You said that if KD and LeBron went against each other, what?
If KD and LeBron, like you said, you put Jordan into the mix, bro.
No, I know. Just go back to the KD and LeBron.
And in the primes, you got to remember, Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year how many times?
No.
And Offensive Player of the Year how many times?
All I'm saying.
What has LeBron done?
No. What was the KD versus LeBron thing you said?
I think KD can score on LeBron all day.
Okay, and LeBron can score on KD. Against each other,
twos and threes are different.
No,
twos and threes are different.
Head to head.
Twos and threes are different.
Okay,
remember, it's a different game, like you guys said, right? It's a different game nowadays. You put it 1-on-1, KD, let LeBron go inside all day. LeBron, but KD can score threes all day.
So LeBron has a
KD
better.
But one thing you gotta remember, is that they don't play one-on-one anymore. It's a team game, and it's always and they're always going to be on the court with 4 of the guys. So
But hold on now, and that's a good point, Alan. It really is. But we're kind of speculating, right? We're imagining things.
Right,
and at the end of the day, and hold on. At the end of the day, threes are better in twos. Well, not even necessarily twos. Threes are better than threes, Efren. When you're going one-on-one, it's not a threes game, Efren, especially when someone is more physical and bigger than someone, okay? You have to understand, KD, it's going to be harder for KD to shoot over LeBron and get threes more than it would be for LeBron to consistently drive and bump. Because at the end of the day, they're going to let them play. Let's be honest, LeBron's just going to ram into him constantly. And I'm just saying, that's an easier way to score than it is for KD to take advantage. Now, again, if you're talking about threes where it's not make it, take it, right? I could actually buy because threes, LeBron's going to be getting a lot of twos. Well, KD and his team's probably going to be going for threes. But in a one-on-one scenario, and I get what you're saying, Alan, but if we're just talking about that scenario, LeBron's going to have an easier time, in my opinion. And I love KD, man. Like, I'll just say this too. I'm the only guy in here and probably in the world, other than Golden State fans, that wasn't mad at KD for moving on, and that was just me being a KC hater. But I don't hate KD like my guy too. But I just that scenario, man.
But he was drafted by your hometown team, bro, and I understand that. But I've always been hard on him because of that. But I just, I never really, I'm not an analytics guy. I'm not looking at the numbers like that, like you guys do. And I heard that and I saw it and I was like, damn, that's actually pretty impressive, because you would think that actually would belong to someone like Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Not really, because they play like
inside.
Well,
it was more inside.
But Kareem, Kareem, most of his shots were from outside. Most of his hook shots were from outside the key.
True.
Okay, and that would be considered mid-range, right?
But you got to realize that. Okay. I think that. So where did you see that stat? Because sometimes
it was on NBA Today.
There's a cutoff, Alan, right? That's what you're going to say, KJ, because usually it's like after 1980 started showing those stats. So for all we know, Alan, it could have happened, right? They just didn't cover those stats, before 1980, for example.
I didn't pull it up anywhere, bro. I saw it on NBA Today. It was on NBA Today yesterday. They were talking about it was specifically about efficiency. They were talking about efficiency and who has been the most efficient player, not necessarily of all time, but over the last 25 years, I think is what they were the sample pool was from. And I was kind of blown away. I mean, I didn't realize that it's mind-boggling to me that the man averaged nearly 30 points a game his whole career and only shot, less than 20 shots a game. And you guys want to say that he played with a bunch of guys, but he still had to do it on the court. It's not that easy, because I mean, you think about it, if even in our primes when we were playing, we couldn't shoot mid ranges like that and average those kind of points. Come on, that's impressive.
If you saw the game though, the Suns game, right? Like seeing Booker and Durant, right? That was a dynamic duo, and it didn't like it was still Booker's team, right? Like he got most of the shot, but Durant was really efficient too.
So what I think in that situation, if you guys actually think about it, I watched that whole game, and I just wanted to see the chemistry. I feel like, and they were talking about it to the reporters after the game, it felt like Booker had more spacing, more to do what he does. You understand what I'm saying? Compared to what he's been going through. Of course, we got to see still, when they play a good defensive team, how they're going to guard them. Because it's going to be kind of hard to guard three. Maybe Ayton wakes up and Riley becomes the dude that he has to become down at the bottom. But as of right now, I looked at it. KD gelled right. Even with Chris Paul only had 3 points that whole game. He didn't even have to do anything. Before, if Chris Paul had 3 points in the game and Devin Booker had to do something, they weren't going to win that game. They have another shooter. Come on, to come off of an injury and score 23 points right away on a new team.
How many layups and dunks did Booker have in that game too, bro? he was going to the hole because it was wide open all game long.
Because you got
Because everybody
a man,
was focused on Durant.
and that's what
Yeah.
I like that. Like the efficiency of scoring, I understand. That's what used to happen at Golden State. When you have
Yep.
something like you have two good shooters outside, that opens up everything inside for everybody. Even if you, that's why. What do you think? Let's be honest. Do you guys honestly think Looney from Golden State is a great big man?
No.
Okay, then. So but he was a good role
But he
player.
is a Bruin.
But like I said, that's why these teams were so good. Kevin Durant can make any team that good. I believe so. He made. Let's be honest. He made Brooklyn. If all three players were playing, imagine if they played good. All three players: James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant. If they actually gelled like they were supposed to, they didn't need a big man.
They didn't. They
Actually
only
kinda
played
played
11
a whole
games
season together.
They were eight.
Yeah.
I think they were 8-3 in their 11 games. They didn't need a big man.
Yeah, they played 11 games together that first year.
I understand that was only 11 games, but you look how many games did Kevin Durant play with Steph. Right now, one game that he's played with Booker, and look at the chemistry with all these players. And everybody said, well, they have no defense. Okay, then. But when you're letting a guy go in there and score like it's nothing, you're letting Booker score for what, 35, 36 points? Imagine if Chris Paul has a good game.
Like I said, well, this is exactly what I said when he got traded. Well, for one, I'm not counting that game at all. Like I said to you guys, I don't know if you heard Amos. They played against they played against a shitty Hornets team.
It's an NBA team.
No, yeah. Name one player on their team that played. LaMelo was out. Their best player's out on a team that has.
That's one player
on a team that has 17 wins. On a team that has 17 wins.
Let's be honest and say, I think I mentioned this to KJ too. So check this out, y'all. When Dame scored that 71 points, I swear to you guys, I knew that it was the Houston Rockets that gave up those points because their defense is, I think, I want to say top 5 worst in the league, if not the worst in the league. On top of it, they have such young kids who still should be in college, right? And they also have a lot of NBDL level players, right? And so you can argue Charlotte is in that category. I hear you, Efren, they're an NBA team, but
all I'm saying is that.
But the thing is, this team has been playing together the whole season, even with 17 wins.
And they still suck.
One game with Kevin Durant. And
the thing about it, KJ, for you though, bro, is that you always wanna say something about a team and their records or the quality of the players that they have on their team, but they're still in the NBA. They still have to play those games, and he made it look easy.
Anybody can make it look easy,
and he should have. You're right, he should have, and we won't. We won't be able to really, judge this whole thing until they played for a few weeks together. And then you're right. They got to play some guys. But, I think we all pretty much said it before he even stepped a foot on the court for Phoenix that they were the team to beat in the Western Conference. And he just proved it.
I don't think yet they haven't. You have to prove it to me against a high-level team. That's why they always say certain things about certain teams. You look at last year. What happened to your Bulls, Efren? You guys were like 0-12 to start the season.
We lost LaMelo, our guard that carried the team.
No, you lost Lonzo. But listen,
hold on. Let me explain to you. We lost LaMelo. That was
Lonzo.
our point guard, our starting point guard.
You don't even know your players.
Hold on. Name another point guard. Name another point guard that could come in and run that offense. Who did we have as a point guard?
If you let me
Caruso's
finish,
a 6th man.
If you let me finish,
the rookie Ayo, he's still learning.
You're not listening.
LaVine, like I told everybody, LaVine is still a good player. He's always been a good player coming from bad teams.
Efren, if you'd let me finish, I said that your team was 0-12 against top 4 teams in the East before Lonzo went out.
Because we had no big man either.
What I'm saying is nobody thought you were a contender until you could beat one of those teams. So until they can show me that they can beat one of those teams, and Chris Paul doesn't go
because they've beaten these teams before.
Who?
Before KD even got there, you still can beat that team.
All I'm saying,
they beat good teams. That Phoenix Suns team is a good team.
Didn't they play in the final just in the last 4
years? 2 years ago.
Yeah, they played in the finals 2 years ago. We played in the finals 3 years ago, and look where we're at. My team played in the finals 3 years ago. Look where we're at. We're damn near
What team
out
is
of the
that,
playoff.
man?
Miami.
What team?
Miami.
what
We
team?
played the Lakers.
Okay.
Last
Because
year
you
we were
guys listened too much to
one game
Taylor
away.
Harrell.
Last year we were one game away from the finals. Look where we're at. We were one shot away from Jimmy Butler.
But like I said, the team chemistry this year, you guys have been hurt all year long. Your whole team has been hurt.
And I don't know. I mean, you're going to compare the Heat to the Phoenix team, because I don't think, personally, I don't think Phoenix or Miami would have beat Phoenix if they had played in the final.
They wouldn't have.
No, they wouldn't have.
They
So
wouldn't.
can I-
The only
let me-
team I know that once they called it was Amos, and he was right. The only team that was going to be able to beat that Suns team, because I called them going to the finals, was Milwaukee, and the only person
Was
that said that
Giannis.
was Amos. That's the only one that said that they would be able to beat that team.
I
because
didn't
the
think they
defense
would
had
beat
talent.
them. I didn't.
I don't know. Well, we
I
didn't know
didn't
you,
think they
Alan.
beat 'em.
This
I
is
know. I didn't think they would beat. No, I didn't think they would beat Giannis. I didn't think that they would beat
But Amos called it against me. I told everybody, look at the
Phoenix.
Celtics go to the
Yeah, I
finals,
thought Phoenix was going to win that series, man. I ain't going to lie to you.
and I thought so too.
Yeah.
I
So
thought Phoenix was.
I appreciate that, Efren. No, I was gonna say. So let's finish this NBA talk. So basically, let's. So what are you guys really arguing? I guess my question is, because again, KJ, I get what you're saying, but Efren, I also get what you're saying, but to not play the neutral side, I want to know, Efren, are you saying that basically? Are you saying to KJ, hey, you not being impressed by that game? You should be, and that shows that the Suns are the favorite now. Are you guys saying that you think the Suns are the favorites?
Yes.
And KJ, so you're saying that, and KJ, are you more just saying you're not willing to say that? And I think that's totally fair. You can't call a team the favorites off of one game, unless Efren, you're saying you already thought that previously, right?
Amos. Just a sec though. How many of us picked them to be in the Western Conference Finals the week before last when we were picking our teams?
I know I did. I know I said. I think I did. I think I said if them and Denver. I believe. I think I said Denver was
You
finally
said
going.
them and Denver.
Yeah.
Efren said them and
Dallas.
who did you say?
Dallas in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, Dallas. You said that, and then I said them and the Pelicans. KJ was the only one that didn't pick them to be in the Western Conference
Yes,
Finals.
I did. I said Grizzlies and Suns.
Oh, see, so we
But
all
look at
picked
it.
them
But
before
look
he
at this.
even stepped on
I'm
the
doing
court.
it right now.
And now
Look.
you want to say I got to see him play
Look.
against?
Okay.
No,
But
no.
listen. This is against the Celtics,
No.
the Sixers, the Nuggets, the Bucks, the Cavs, and I think those are the top teams in the league, and they are what 1-7 against those teams. So until KD,
Phoenix is.
yes, Phoenix
Phoenix is.
So until
okay,
KD
so
plays
you-
one of those top teams and they win
So
a game,
we're all in agreement though that Phoenix before the trade wasn't probably on the same level they were when they played in the finals 2 years ago.
yes.
True.
Right?
True.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
so you're saying that they're one and whatever, and they're not even the same team, even though they got the same players that they were 2 years ago.
No, I'm saying
Okay.
this season they are 1-7 against these players.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And what I'm saying is that until KD shows that he can help them beat one of these teams, they only beat the Celtics once, who the Celtics
But-
lost to the Magic 3 times this season.
But the
Until
thing
they
is-
can beat one of these teams with KD, I'm not going to say that they're ready to win the West. They're not the favorite.
Pick Memphis, a team that's been struggling, that can't even keep, that blows 20, 30-point leads against the 76ers.
I said that was my matchup, and I
I
also
know,
said that
but so yeah. So how can you pick a team like that? How were they doing before? How were they doing before Jaw said what he said? Give me other. I'm not worried about the West. And look at them now.
Yeah.
okay.
And I'm the biggest jaw lover out of the four of us. And I didn't even have him in my top 5. And I don't even have them coming out of the first round of the playoffs.
And look at, and one of the
Who
another
doesn't
thing
have 'em?
is, and one of the
I
other
don't.
thing,
Oh,
like we talked about last week. I'm even looking past this, but the Suns can put up points. Now I believe they're gonna be able to put up points.
what did I
Other
say
teams-
last year, or what did I say last week?
But they couldn't put up points last year.
No, I said
Now
what did
that
I
they
say
have another
last
shooter-
week. Well,
I know, but now that they have
KD
another
against the
shooter-
Nuggets,
Who was it? Tell me, who was the other shooter before Kevin Durant got there?
Damian Lee.
Who?
Damian Lee.
Like I said, who?
A champion, someone who's actually won a champion on that team,
that was
championship
on
on
the
the team.
bench. That was on a bench.
He was still.
It don't matter. He's not as consistent as LeBron as
He
as
played on that
KD.
team. He
Huh?
actually played on that team.
Yes.
Yeah.
He played on that team for what? How many of those seasons? Was it just
Well, they also
one?
had Johnson too. Let's be honest, but just saying.
Huh?
Like you
No,
gotta
but
remember.
did he actually play? Did he play, or was he just on the team?
No, he played. Especially last year. Yes, he did play. Coming off the bench, it was mainly what? Did Otto Porter start or not?
I'm sorry,
he
I
didn't.
lost you.
No, Otto Porter
Okay,
didn't
guys,
start.
we're going too far into this. I understand we're gonna keep on arguing. KJ,
Yeah.
Sham it.
I'll talk to you.
Sham
I'll
it.
talk to you after this weekend, or as soon as they beat somebody big, and that's the first person I'm coming after. I'm coming
Okay.
after KJ
And then
just to let him know.
No, all I'm saying is that until they can win that top game, I'm not ready to put them as the team to beat in the West.
Okay.
I don't think anybody. I think you're taking it the wrong.
You cut out.
You cut out, but KJ, no, I think that's fair, KJ. That sentiment's fair, I think.
That's what you guys said. You guys said that they are not you,
God
Amos, but
damn it.
Efren and Allen. You guys said that they are the what? Not the front runner, but what did you guys call them?
They're
The
lead
favorite.
horse now.
You guys said they're the favorite,
They are.
but you can't be the
I
favorite
agree with it.
until you prove yourself.
When you bring in a player caliber of KD to that type of team, you are. When it opens it up that your big man can't guard outside, he can play the inside, but who's gonna guard KD outside of all those teams? Yeah, you say Brown. What happens when Brown gets in foul trouble? You want to say these teams? Jokic, who's gonna guard from Denver? Who's gonna guard KD? And who's gonna guard
I don't know,
Devin
but
Booker?
I told you they got the second best rated defense, so they can
I'm telling you
obviously
right now.
switch.
Tell me who's gonna guard these players? Memphis. Let's go
All
Memphis.
I'm saying, but what I was saying was that you can't put the
Amos.
number one, and
Okay.
you need Chris Paul to show up, and you need DeAndre Ayton to
don't
show
need
up.
Chris Paul to show
Nobody
up.
crowned them the champions,
You
bro.
don't need Chris
Nobody
Paul to
has
show
You
up.
guys
crowned
said
them
that they're the
champions.
favorites. Even
But
Efren
you
just said
don't
that they're
need
the
Chris Paul
favorites
to
of the
show
West.
up. You don't need Chris Paul to show up because he didn't. Bro, he had 3 points against.
He didn't do
fucking,
anything against that no good team, Charlotte. He didn't do.
Yeah,
What did
Exactly,
he do?
a no
What'd he
good
do?
team.
And look-
he needs to
and
do
look what
something
happened.
against a good team. They beat the
Right,
Hornets.
right.
All right,
With-
guys,
and
guys.
two guys.
If,
They
if Chris
basically beat him
Paul
with
has
2
that
guys.
same
Amos,
performance,
Amos.
if Chris Paul has that
Amos,
same
stop.
performance
Amos,
against the
stop.
Clippers, they're losing that game.
I mean, I get it. I honestly really get both. I'm not trying to take the easy way out. It's like, to Efren's point, he thinks a dynamic player like KD can be a breakaway number one team with a team like the Suns, who have that talent and who has that pedigree, because they have history. Yes, they lost last year, but they still made it playoffs. It was the second round, right? They lost, not the first round, second round.
Second round to
before-
Luka.
Year before they made the finals. So I get that sense, but again, to KJ's point, it's kind of like, man, you guys are disrespecting the Nuggets, big time. For example, I mean, if you're Jokic, how do you?
Well,
how
I
would
mean, think about it though, Amos. What you even said it. What has Denver done in the postseason?
No, for sure, and that's what I'm saying, and I've said that for sure. But I've also said that's why I believe this season, though, it's different. I think this season they're finally healthy. I've kind of brought it up to my Milwaukee bet. It's why I kind of believed in Milwaukee the other year. Denver as a team, defensively wise, is next level, and it's extremely hard to win in Denver. And so they've been playing together way more than the Suns, that current team, obviously with KD.
And we're talking about the regular season though too, and then the postseason. They call it the second season for a reason, right?
I get that, but you're also talking about the Suns that just lost in the second round next year. So either way, we can go back and forth. But I'm talking about specifically this season, Alan. So again,
But it's not the same team. It's not the same team that lost last year, and the Nugget team is basically the same team that lost last year.
No, because you have Jamal Murray.
After running through the regular season.
No, I'm saying Jamal Murray is now healthy this year. You also have,
And the Suns also lost 2 of their best defenders.
Right.
One of them was the runner-up for DPOY last year. So now you have
All-
no defense on that team.
No, and
all I'm saying,
like I said, nobody is crowning them the champions of the Western Conference. I just
Say
think
that they're
that
the favorite. That is basically.
No,
saying
it's
that they're
not
the
crowning
favorite.
them. They still got to play the games, bro.
But that's what I was saying. You
Right?
guys are
They
arguing
still
with
got to
me.
play the games.
We have some FIFA, some Champions League. I know a lot of us really were getting into it. Me and Amos are big soccer fans. Of course, I'm a big Bayern Munich fan. That's the team that I love. Amos, go ahead. You can tell you who's your. I know you have a couple of teams that you like, but I know you have a main team.
Yep. So my main team, I would definitely say, is Liverpool. Crazy enough, I've honestly missed out on a lot of good soccer. Efren probably became a soccer fan way earlier than I was. I was just that typical American that just didn't have time for it. I love me some NBA, NFL, MLB, and I just started playing the FIFA game. As stupid as that sounds, I started playing the FIFA game and became interested in it. Wanted to know these players and these tournaments, and I felt like how cool it was to see that it's actually truly a world game. And so it's not like American sports where the best players are just in our general area. You have the best players everywhere. And so with that said, I became a Liverpool fan. I've been probably about a 10-year supporter, but I also like the Seattle Sounders, obviously, because that is the local team. But yeah, friend, this year has been pretty wild because my Liverpool, they were just in the Champions League finals last year, as you know, and they've just been struggling. Their defense is just in shatters. They're a little older this season. They had a bad game their last leg versus Real Madrid in the round of 16. It was 2-0 Liverpool, and Real Madrid came back 2-5 to actually win 5-2. So now we're on to the second leg, going to Real Madrid, who, by the way, beat us in last year's finals. So I'm not very confident whatsoever. But yeah, going forward, I know your Bayern Munich is playing PSG. What's the status in that series right now?
Wow, we're going in. We're going in up 1-0. I'm not gonna lie to you. We should have. Mbappe made a. Of course, if you guys do new players from PSG, that is one of the strongest teams out there as well. They have a lot of talent. What I mean by that, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. I just found out that Neymar is missing this game. He is going to be out, but of course Mbappe is coming back. And up 1-0. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm confident, but not 100% because Mbappe is a great player that he can make things happen. We should have lost this first leg 2-1, but I'm glad we got some calls that went our way. Of course, that is my team. I'm a big Bayern Munich fan. The other teams I go for, like in Mexico, I'm a big Chivas fan. I I really don't cheer for other Europe teams. And if you're talking about Champions League, guys, just to let everybody know, Champions League is teams all over Europe, everywhere in Europe. You got teams from Spain, teams from England, teams from Germany, teams from Austria, teams from name it. They gotta play league games like a World Cup, but a smaller tournament every year that goes on. It's where you see. Go ahead.
Hasn't PSG they've been pretty inconsistent throughout the season though, haven't they?
So they've been inconsistent this year during the French league because they're starting to get a lot better, but they are inconsistent because of injuries. But
Was that the first leg?
no, so they had Mbappe had to come off the bench for them. That's why I said that they should have won because as soon as he came off the bench, they made a big difference to our team. So that's why that's what scared me about that PSG team. We beat them 2 years ago, I think it was, or was it 3 years ago? We beat them in the championship for the Champions League, 1-0. Of course, like one thing I can tell you guys, the kid who scored that won this time, his name is Coman. He's a French player. He's actually started off his career at PSG. He scored on them this last leg. So, and he's the same one that scored on them when they won the championship that one time. But if we get past this round, I feel like we have a big chance of winning it all. But it's just gonna be hard. It's gonna be a hard time. And going back to one stat, I don't know if you knew, and I don't mean to talk crap on Liverpool, Amos, but it's I think 4 in a row already that Liverpool has not been able to beat Madrid. 4 in a row games. If you think about it, just look at it. Look at the last 4 times they played against each other in the Champions League. I don't know, but Madrid, That's the same thing that we have the same problem against Spanish teams. I don't want to face no
What-
Spanish team at all in this tournament because we end up
What
losing.
what does the season consist of, guys? That's the only thing that I'm having a hard time. Do they break it into like? Because I see right now the standings are it's like a 6-game. They played like 6 games in whatever this
bracket,
draw is.
a group
But
bracket.
from what I was looking at, it looks like Napoli has actually been the most consistent team over the course of the season, though.
So the way it consists of, Alan, is you have to be one of the every league in England and everything. To qualify for this tournament, you got to be either the top 4 in England, the
Okay.
top 4 in Germany, like in your division, in certain areas. Then you
Okay,
get
so then they break it up into groups, right? And then how many
Yeah.
groups are there? There's
multiple
like
groups.
10 of them? Like 10 groups?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
about right. And like to Efren's point, yeah, I think German, England is 4. I want to say like the French league is 3. I want to say Spain is 4 because that's the thing. All these leagues aren't equal, but it's also to my point earlier. It's why this league is so cool because you get all these different leagues that are competing. Efren knows the Premier League is typically the NBA, the NFL, the MLB. It's literally the league, the most popular league, and it usually generally is from top to bottom the best league, but also, they run into these Spain teams, specifically Real Madrid and like Barcelona, and those teams are usually the best teams, not the best.
But those teams also had Messi and
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo on them, right? For a lot of years.
Barcelona, and then basically they've both left within the last few years. But the thing about it is,
right. Well, I actually didn't Ronaldo. He pretty much got booted, didn't he? They gave him his walking papers, didn't they?
No, that was Juventus. I think he's more.
Oh, that was Juventus, wasn't it? Yeah.
Hold on.
So let me ask you this, guys. Let me ask you this. So in these groups, once they put them into the groups, are they playing against everybody or just the 4 teams that are in their groups?
So you play against the 4 teams that are in your groups. You play home and away against each team. So
the first leg is either a home or away game, and then the second leg would be the other side of that, then, right?
And you get so for every win you get 3 points. For a tie you get 1 point. For a loss you get 0 points. The only 2 teams.
How do they come up with the full season? Because when I opened it up, I saw Napoli had, like I was saying, they were like the most consistent team throughout the season.
So this is the good thing about this tournament, Alan. This tournament is also going on at the same time that the regular season for each league that's going on. So these teams are going.
So are they still playing games in their league?
Yeah.
Along with the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
right.
So you get drawn into. Oh, go ahead, and you can explain this part.
Well, you're explaining it really good. I was going to basically say, essentially, Alan, in the group, 2 teams are typically the teams that are then advanced, basically, to the 2 top teams, basically.
Right.
And the number 1 team will then play the lowest ranked team in the final 16, basically, and that's kind of how it goes, essentially.
So basically, just the regular season is what gets them into the tournament, and then they have to perform during the tournament. Then,
yes, but
let's move on to the next stage, right?
Right, but let's make some clear effort too. It's actually not this season. So basically, you do your regular season, right? If you make top 2, top 3, whatever in a league, top 4, let's say, you'll then qualify for the Champions League the following season. So like Liverpool.
Okay.
So Liverpool's in the Champions League based off last season, whereas this season, in their season in the Premier League, they're actually struggling. They're like number 6 right now. So basically, as if it was to end this season, Liverpool wouldn't even make it the following year, unless they won the whole.
Unless they win it, right? Okay. But it looks like they're doing really well in the tournament, though, right? I mean, I from what I can see, they look like they're doing really well. They're right there with Napoli. They're actually just a few points below Munich.
This is what Efren was saying, though. So basically what happened was they lost to Real Madrid last week. They got off to like a 2-0 start. Real Madrid came back and won 5-2. So they were off to a good start round 16.
Okay.
Second leg, and they're down 3 right now. So it's
going
to
so they got to score 4 to advance then.
Exactly, but I would say my favorite team going forward is certainly Bayern Munich. They always play really good as a team, a whole team, as Efren knows. They always have superstars, but they don't seem like they ever rely on just one guy. Whereas like PSG, a lot of times you'll see in past years, PSG plays a lot of just ISO ball, one-on-one, hero ball.
Because they have 3 stars on that team. Well, who are the stars for Munich? E.
So right now, we have multiple stars. We lost our best player this last season. His name was Lewandowski. He went to Barcelona. But
Okay.
now we're depending on Sergio Mane that came from Liverpool. We're
Was that a trade? Was that a trade that they lost Lewandowski through a trade, or he just went to that team?
free agency.
Okay.
Free
Okay.
agency. We also lost. We gained a couple of players, but our star players are like Mane, Gabney. We got we did have he's not the best goalkeeper in the world no more, like people have called him. So we have more, but we also had we had the best goalkeeper in the world for a while. He's hurt right now, so we're doing it with the backup goalkeeper. Our midfield is very strong. Our midfield is Sané, Goretzka, Kimmich. These are mostly all these players too. One thing that I can tell you about Germany, most of these players are all German-based players.
All German players? Okay.
Mostly based German players. Like a lot of other teams got players from like France.
All over the world, right?
Like that, but we don't have. Most of our team is usually like based, and that's why I believe that we're so good because we keep it in our
in-house.
Yeah.
Right. They play together. They play together most of the year then, right? Even in the off season when they're
sometimes they play internationally together too. So
okay.
Yeah. But like I said, this tournament, I can tell you, it goes by group stage. Top 2 events. Right now, they're in the round of 16. So all these teams. So after this week and next week, there's 4 more games. Then it keeps on going. But like you said, that's why a lot of these teams, what they want to do is they want to be. Sometimes you're not going to be able to catch up to the top of their league. So they just want to make the top 3 to make this tournament.
To make the tournament.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: Who would you consider the favorite, and then who would you consider the sleeper, the dark horse in the tournament?
Amos, you want to answer this first part, and I'll go second.
Yeah, you give the dark horse. I'll give the favorite. So I would say my favorites. I feel like every year, so we've even brought up Man City, right? And it's funny because this year in the Premier League, Man City is actually struggling for Man City, but Man City has won the Premier League, I want to say 3 of the last 4 years. I mean, they've been literally
I think they have actually. Yeah.
The standard basically. And they're probably the richest club, although Newcastle is now coming up. But as far as the teams in Champions League, Man City might have the most money. They have oil money is what they call it. And they have the talent. And so from a just talent perspective, man, I always think of Man City, but as far as them being in form, you wouldn't really say Man City's the best in form. And so you probably have to go Real Madrid just because they're so talented from top to bottom. They have a lot of homegrown talent that's really good, but they have the scores right now as far as Madrid goes. Where is it? Benzema. What's the Brazilian's name? Vicious. Efren, how do you?
Vinicius.
Junior Vicious, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Can't pronounce it, but he's a stud. I mean, he's one of the best young players in the world. He absolutely killed Liverpool, and so I would just say Real Madrid, Man City, and then certainly whoever comes out of Bayern and PSG. I just think we've all been waiting for PSG and Bayern to PSG and Man City to finally win. I mean, it's and they haven't, and they're always favorites typically. So I would say one of those 4, but obviously again, Bayern, PSG, one of them will be eliminated this current round. So whoever comes out of that, give me them, Real Madrid and Man City as my 3 favorites. I'd probably have to give
favorites.
The ultimate favorite because of their form right now, man. Madrid,
so even as strong as Bayern Munich is playing, you still wouldn't have them in that pool, in that group.
No, so Bayern would be, like I said, they're in that top 4 with me, along with PSG.
Okay.
They got a PSG, whereas I have confidence that Real Madrid and Man City are going to qualify.
And what about teams like Chelsea and AC Milan? Are they Would they
Nope.
be?
Effort knows this. Chelsea's been really bad this season, regular season wise. So they're only in it based off last year, and they already lost to
Oh.
Dortmund in the first leg.
Did they?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then as far as Inter, they're good, but like Inter just never has enough pieces per se. One of those teams that's like they typically get in top 2, top 3, top 4. I know their history wise, man, they have maybe whatever they might have the most champion league finals chips of anybody, right? But as far as lately, recently, they're a good team, but I wouldn't say they're a favorite. No.
So
Effort.
the dark horse.
Yeah.
So the
dark horse, yeah.
The dark horse is Napoli. The dark horse is Napoli this year. Napoli
You think so?
Yes, they have the weapons. They have the players to compete, but nobody knows if they could beat these power teams from Madrid, from Bayern, from Germany, from Man City. Nobody knows if they're that good enough to beat this team because there's always a team that has it the easiest. And when we say the easiest way to the final is because they're drawing teams that are not as good as they are, if you understand what I'm saying. So
they would be considered the favorite in most of the games that they're playing then?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how you learn. So like the way it goes, so like after this right here, all these teams don't know who they're playing against next.
Right.
So they can win, but they don't have a direct, I'm going to be playing against this team next. It comes at a draw.
When they go into the next round, do they actually mix the groups up again, or do they stay with the teams they've?
So the teams that advance, so it's going to the Elite Eight. It's like basketball. Okay, let's go conference basketball. It's going from the Sweet 16 to the Elite
16 to the Elite 8. So it would be 2. So 4.
But
okay,
not groups. It's not groups no more.
It's not groups anymore.
Instead of them knowing who they're going to play, it's a draw. So this team will play against this team. This team will play against. It's not automatically who you're playing against.
So they don't seed them at all.
They don't know. So they don't know who they're playing against in the next round.
They don't see. Nobody comes in as a favorite. Nobody comes in as an underdog.
Not until they find out after the draw. So next week, it'll be next Friday. There'll be a draw.
So let me ask you this: with this draw, could the top 2 teams play against each other in the next round?
Yeah.
Yeah, because once you get, I think it's the 16 is based off seeding. It's like 1, 2 in the bracket. But after Sweet 16, once you get to like Elite 8, it's anybody. It can play anybody now. It's free for all.
So that's they do it all the way. They do it all the way to the final. So if you advance,
that was
a draw. On the final, you already know who's going to play against each other after the last 4.
Okay.
So that's the way they do
this. That's actually pretty cool, guys. I didn't realize that. That's actually that keeps it really interesting.
Yeah, because you don't know you can't prepare for the next team.
Right. You can't prepare, and then and if you knock off one of the top teams, that might make it an easier route for you to get to the final.
Yeah. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen a lot. Like I said, Champions League is a good sport. I hope you get into it. Just watch soccer. I love soccer. I grew up playing soccer. I might not look like it, but I love soccer. Soccer is a worldwide sport. I love my football. I love my basketball. Soccer is just something I grew up with. And you start learning about these leagues, like you said, like you want to cheer for the underdog. But sometimes you just want to see 2 great teams go at it in a final.
And the crazy thing about soccer, and I'll just say this last point, we can move on. But soccer is crazy too. Like, so in America, you can have a franchise that just has really bad luck, unfortunately, and you might have a baseball team that has some owners that don't want to spend a lot of money. But for the most part, we all have cap space, right? So every team we know at least has a fighting chance because of cap space and your free agency, or not even free agency, sorry, cap space in the draft, right? Because hey, if I'm a bad club, team, or whatever, we can draft a stud guy. Maybe they can save our franchise. Where in soccer, it's not like that. They don't have cap space per se, and there's no draft. And so a lot of the best teams have the best facilities, academies, but then obviously they have the money. So they get the best players, a certain smaller program will be a feeder to a bigger program. And so, long story short, a lot of these teams, these fan bases, like in the Premier League, for example, I would say 80% of them know that they're never going to win. It's crazy. Like literally, the big six in the Premier League are the teams that have traditionally won and have the money. And so, like even in Spain, for example, it's literally just really Real Madrid and Barcelona, a little bit of Atletico Madrid, which is typically the third best team in that league. But so long story short, as good of a game it is, and it really is a truly special game, these fans love this game when they know their own team aren't even going to win. Basically, teams are happy with fans are happy that their team can sometimes make sixth place in a league, and so it's just completely different than like we're used to out here, basically, where we have certain expectations. We want our team to be the best or get number one, But yeah, it's just different.
Right.
One thing I can tell you. Hold on. Well, I'm sorry for bothering. So one thing.
Okay.
If you guys do want to look into this, Alan, maybe you like a show that you can watch. There's 2 American actors that actually just bought a team.
Yeah, I know. I actually watched that show, bro. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So watch that. They're having coming. So this season, they've actually been on a miracle run in certain tournaments and certain cups that they're playing, and they've beaten teams. They've beaten teams that are actually playing in the Premier League. They beat
dang.
Yeah. So you're like, what the heck? Like, what's going on?
They got the money. They got the money to bring in guys, and they got a lot of talent that came out of Wales, and so they're bringing those guys back to the country, and they're playing for that team.
They're trying.
So. But let me ask you one quick thing, guys. As far as movement,
hold on.
Team to team.
Amos?
No, I was saying though, but to that point, Alan, they haven't even just yet because they just took over the team, right, Efren? So they haven't even like took over just completely, right? They haven't like.
Actually, they did. So Alan was talking about they got more those. So they bring a striker back that plays for Wales. He's already playing. He's been a great asset to them. Man, that team has just been like you hear about them, you're like, what the heck? And I started watching them on TV like a regular game. You guys are playing good. One thing, Alan, I want you to know is if you ever have a chance to experience a soccer game, even here in the States, and I don't mean an MLS soccer game, I mean when these teams from Madrid, Barcelona,
Munich, seeing like a friendly matchup between the U.S. and someone like that,
go. But if you ever have a chance to go to England or go to Germany, go watch their home stadiums and look at how the difference from a football game to a soccer game is at those.
It looks crazy, man. It looks crazy. I mean, it's their life in a lot of those countries. It's all they live for. It's crazy. I got one quick question though, guys. As far as movement between the teams, is there any movement once the tournament starts? Like if say one of your top guys goes down, do they have a pull to bring someone up? And play.
Go ahead, Amos.
No, that's a real good question. I'll just say, Efren, you can talk about Efren. I would just say bring up the transfer window, right, and then just say, once they do play one Champions League game, they're disqualified, right, for the season.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So a lot. So like you were talking about Munich. Munich is in rumors to take. His name is Henry Kane from Tottenham. He's a big star. Harry Kane, sorry. From Tottenham, from England. He's supposed to come to Munich. We're supposed to pick him up. He's supposed to be the next big star that he has, that we have.
Didn't he have a good
World Cup?
World Cup, yeah.
Yes, he did have a good World Cup this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, so he's supposed to be coming, but he is not allowed to play in the Champions League because his team is also in the Champions League right now.
In the championships? So he won't be able to play until next year?
Yeah, on us if he comes to. But he's still playing. So he's still playing right now. I think, isn't it? It's only if his team gets eliminated, he's not allowed to play no more. Right? If he gets transferred?
No, so if you play, I want to say if your team qualified, so even if you made it to the bracket, but your team like lost and you didn't make it to the final 16, you're done. Like you can't play for two different teams in a Champions League season. So whether you make it throughout the first bracket or you lose, once you play one game in Champions League, you're disqualified basically.
But we do have players that can come up from second teams. We do have second teams out there.
Okay.
There's
Or like
academies.
like soccer, Alan, like soccer teams are so big, they'll loan players out, which is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So you have players that might not be good enough to play with for Bayern right now, and then go to a smaller club and be like one of their best players, and then guess
Okay.
what? You just pull them up, worst case, and
Then you bring them up. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But I hope
That's
you guys.
actually pretty cool.
And like I said, guys, I just hope everybody gets into it and just information. Comments are down low. If you guys ever want to know a little bit more, we could actually look at some more research and then more questions.
Definitely.
If anybody, because I know there's a lot of people that
Definitely
want
put them comments
to
in.
get it. But yeah, that's all about Champions League right now. Good luck to the teams that are still in there, and then in a couple of weeks we'll bring it back up because there'll be semifinals. So we'll go on from there. There's these two twins. They're called the
Cavendish.
They're from Phoenix, Arizona. I think Phoenix, Arizona. They're from Arizona. They did play in Fresno. They were great players at Fresno State. Then this year was their first year that they transferred the U to Miami, another one of my teams. But the NIL deal came out. They're the first players to get affected by the new rules that are going on with the alma maters and stuff like that. Did you guys do any research about this? Do you guys know what I'm talking about, Amos and Alan?
Yeah, well, just a little bit. Did it have something to do with representation, or was it? I can't remember exactly why they got slapped on the wrist through the move. It had something to do with.
They met up with an alma mater from the University of Miami. Before I guess all that stuff was happening, some stuff happened that they weren't supposed to talk to these people or something like that. But the representation, right away, as soon as, what a big coincidence that nobody no big teams wanted you at the beginning, but now remember the transfer portal and NIL deals, and now alma mater reached out to them from the university.
So but that was because they actually took Fresno State to the tournament last year, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
And they were, one of them was highly recruited, and the reason that they chose Fresno State was because the other one wasn't recruited to some of the major universities, right?
Yes.
Okay. They definitely need to put some parameters on this thing. And I think that's where they went wrong is that they didn't really look at it from a perspective that it was going to create such havoc, and now they're trying to throw a bunch of guidelines on it that that are probably everybody's probably going to be affected by it at some point in time, during the process, as long as they're in college. And I think that's where it's gotten a little out of hand as far as the money that these kids are making, and some of these kids come from nothing and now they got a bunch of money, and and I think that what happens is that they kind of have this mentality that they're untouchable now because they got this money. And I think it's a great thing for college sports because they've been taken advantage of for so long, and now they have an opportunity to get some of that back. But I think that they rushed to get it going, and now they're having to put the brakes on it so that they can actually define this thing. They didn't really look at it hard enough, in my opinion, to keep it not necessarily under control, but to actually make it so that what am I looking for? I think the problem is that they haven't educated these kids on finances and having money and knowing what to do with it, because they're blowing through this money like crazy. I was reading about one kid, I can't remember where he's at, but he bought his mom an exotic car. He's driving an exotic car, and I think he got like $200,000, but he's like blown through that money already.
Well, to that point, the NCAA has always had, this has been going on for decades, right, Alan, as far as them basically, throwing a blind eye, basically, acting like oh, we don't see that, these players are getting money, and we all know, everyone knows it's been going on for a while as far as certain players getting paid.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Certain, as far as a contact period, your team's not supposed to be contacting a certain individual. Well, we all know that goes down constantly, whether it's with you or whether it's you contacting someone else to contact them, right? It's just too easy. And so
Right.
I feel like it was
Right.
always moving in that direction as far as paying the athlete. And I think, I want to speak for you guys, but I definitely saw a lot of the pros as far as certain athletes getting paid because these universities, these schools are getting so much money off the athletes, right? Off their names and likeness and their image. But, I really do agree with you, Alan, as far as, it's kind of gone out of hand because a lot of these young athletes are just getting a ridiculous amount of money that they're not used to seeing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what I figure would happen, and it only seems like it's happening, is you're basically a lot of these 4-star kids, a lot of these 5-star kids end up being bust, right? As we all know, right? They're not for sure things. And some of these kids are being offered a ridiculous amount of money and wages to go to these kids. And so what happens then is, especially in football, you have this kid who's behind you. Maybe he's a 5-star, you're a 4-star. And guess what? He's on the bench, not nearly as good as you, but he's making a stupid amount of money, right? And so to your point, Alan, it's like, man, a lot of these kids, you're a 4-star, 5-star athlete, you're getting recruited by these schools, your ego is already so high and inflated. And I'm not even blaming them because I remember how it was being, a student athlete, and that was in high school. And I was a starter in varsity. And I remember thinking I was the guy. I was so cool, and no one could stop me. And I was getting, again, community college offers and JC looks. So again, JC looks and D3 stuff. And I remember thinking, oh man, I'm the coolest kid in the world. That was just a D3 guy, right? Not even really a D3 guy. And so imagine if you're a D1, and not only that, you're making so much money now, and kids talk. Kids are going to mention, oh, I got this car, I got this, and then not only that, your friends, your family, they're going to want a little piece of that pie too. So
Absolutely.
nasty situation, Efren. What do you think the NCAA should do, or is there anything they can do, or do you think it's going to get controlled, corralled eventually? What do you think? What do you think?
First of all, E, give us your thoughts on the Cavender twins, because you actually know a little bit more about this whole situation. Okay.
Yeah, so I followed. I've been following them since they got to Fresno. These girls, one of them is a great basketball player. I think she can make it to the WNBA. The sister, she's a good role player. But when you put them together, man, these girls are very knowledgeable.
Magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
and
magic.
they know where both of them each other are. They can make plays. I never seen the girls basketball team has always been good at Fresno, but they were a whole nother level when these girls were here. And I didn't blame them for going to the University of Miami. When they went to the University of Miami, I haven't really watched them play out there, but they're doing good from what I hear, and I don't think they should get blamed for doing what they're doing. They started out here in Fresno. They did their part. They made our college team look good, and if I'm not gonna lie to you, man, these girls can ball some of the best girls out there. I think if they're two good guards, I can tell you that right now.
Wasn't the one you're talking about that has got all the talent? Wasn't she recruited? She was actually recruited by Miami, wasn't she?
She was the one who was recruited by Miami,
right?
Very heavily. But they didn't want to separate.
Was that the top college that was recruiting her though?
I don't believe so.
Did she get any looks from like Texas, Tennessee, Connecticut, or anybody like that?
I think she was getting looked at by.
Well, she's from Phoenix, right?
Stanford,
Arizona.
Yeah.
The girls' Arizona team was looking at her.
Okay.
And Pac-12 women basketball is completely different than men's basketball, right? Like Pac-12 women basketball is a really good conference. It might be arguably, I guess, basically, but one of the top 3 conferences, completely different than the men's. So yeah, to your point, Efren, she probably was getting offered by those top.
But the thing is, but the thing. Sorry to interrupt you, Amos. But the thing with them is that those top teams didn't want the sister, and I think
they wanted to play together, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they ended up at Fresno State, because the other sister actually had gotten some offers from them, didn't they?
Yeah, and the thing is, they were going to start automatically.
Yeah. What's interesting though is, to my knowledge, and I checked maybe a few weeks back, so it's been a while. You're definitely more on their, you would know more about them currently than I would. But I remember seeing that the one star sister still doing her thing. She's still scoring a lot, having a really good season. The other sister definitely seems like I don't know if she's starting, and she's not playing as much as she was in the past, which makes sense, right? Because I'm sure Miami's more efficient, better program than Fresno. But it is interesting though, because it just seems like the one's still doing really well, but the other just didn't seem like she was playing. She's still playing a decent.
So there's still some. I watched a little bit of their highlights, and there's still some highlights that when the sisters are on the court together, they know where they're at and they play good. But that other sister, she's not at the. It's the truth. She's not at the level that they're supposed to be at. Like I think they should have split up. I think one sister should have stayed back, and the other one should have went where she has to go.
But they're only sophomores, though, right, bro? They still got 2 years of eligibility after this season, right?
Yeah. So you don't even know. And one thing I can tell you this right now is the sisters. They're not even taking it. I think it's gonna get taken off because they're not even taking it back. I follow them on Instagram, and they're not even like, they talk about it a little bit on there. They're just saying like people are like trying to spread rumors to them and stuff like that. So they're not even.
So it actually had to do with like boosters, alumni. They were meeting with them or something like that. Okay,
out.
so how was that any different than in the past, though? I mean, like you talk about, men's college sports, and they do like Amos was saying, they do that stuff all the time. We know that if there was payments under the table and all this other kind of stuff, and nothing happens, and now all of a sudden, just because they're talking with somebody, they're going to get a slap on the wrist now.
Yeah, I don't know. As I said, to me, it's kind of the NCAA is just trying to get their money. I'm sorry to say it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that.
And this goes not just in college basketball, but this goes in college football, college baseball, college everything. NCAA always wants something out of it, and that sucks for the players.
Absolutely, bro. They're losing a lot of money. I mean, they're still going to make a lot of money, but they're losing a lot of money because these kids, like Amos was saying, you could be a 3-4 star athlete, and you're making and you're getting a lot of money out of this NIL.
Exactly. So when I was talking, there's another thing I went to, because I'm a big video game player, and NCAA, Amos, that's one of the games we've been waiting for to come out. And the thing is, they still haven't been able to finish that game up because NCAA is still fighting for names. And I'm like, how are you going to do that? Let these players make their name. Like, they're not, come on, these guys are putting their bodies out there in college football. They're not going to, most of these kids are not going to make the NFL. They're not. So right now, we know about them. We can say right now I can name you probably 7 or 8 players that we thought were going to be great in the NFL and were bust, and not even bust, just became ordinary players. Like we could do the kid from Oregon, Anthony, the fast kid that was with Marcus Mariota, the one that would do spectacular things.
The kid from Southern California.
Yeah. Thomas. Where is he at now? Nowhere.
He might be on a practice squad somewhere, but that's about it, man.
And then,
wow. But if you guys remember, and to your point, Efren, like he wasn't that guy in the NFL, but man, he was an absolute superstar. Like people would say that he was arguably the best player in college football, right? And so that's why those athletes like him, right? You want to get paid while you're on top because you might not have that future in the NFL, right?
It's also with
absolutely, bro. That's the big thing. I mean, think about it. Think about this. What was that 30 for 30 on the University of Miami? What they have on that one team in the 80s where they had, didn't they have like 17 draft picks in like the first 3 rounds? And those guys all got nice little bonuses, and all of them are broke now, bro. All of them.
Because why? Because they
didn't get any help. They didn't get any financial learning. They didn't know how to handle that money. They wanted to take care. Look at Allen Iverson. How much money did that kid make during his career? How many contracts did he sign? And how
Wow.
big were those contracts? And now he's dependent on a clause that Reebok put in his contract that he's going to get $50 million when he's retirement age. And that's the only reason why that kid's going to have any money, because he's broke now.
See, and that's something that, I just don't understand nowadays, that the NCAA let these kids learn right now about money that they get.
And that's the biggest thing that they throw at you when they start trying to defend the fact that they're getting all this money off of these kids, is that they're getting a free education, but they're putting them through underwater basket weaving classes and basketball theory or some kind of playwright classes and stuff. They're not learning anything in those classes. That's because they can go in there and they can sleep and they can get some girl homework for them.
And one thing I can tell you right now, a lot of these people, and there's a lot of people that don't know about student athletes. We all see them playing football. But remember, most of these kids are going to class, going to work out, going to practice, coming home, and some don't even stay at the dorms. Some stay at an apartment, and whatever money they're getting as a help for these kids are getting paid because the bills they got to pay, and they can't work to pay. So most of them don't even have money to spend.
The average guy, Efren, right? Yeah, exactly. The average guy, especially in season. Like,
the average
in season, it's a full-time job for these kids, man. Like, they're busy. Like,
it is, and they expect them to keep the grades up and go to classes and things like that. And they're doing two-a-days. They're doing, they're in the weight room. They're studying the playbooks, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And then, like I said, I know a couple of players like that, man. And sometimes I wish stuff would turn out different for them. And sometimes people don't make it, but now they're making it in life, and I'm proud of them. But like I said, just let these kids, they deserve it. They deserve it. The conference tournaments are coming up, guys, for college basketball. And I've watched this, and I just talked to Alan before we started today. I just noticed something in the last couple of years, and I don't know if Amos brought anything about last time we talked about it, but I think the champion of this year is watch for good guard play and defense. Guard play and defense wins the March Madness, any tournament, conference tournament and March Madness tournament. And right now, the only team that I've seen that has that is Houston. Man, imagine if they win a national championship this year. How that school has went from how long ago? What was that team called? The Slamma Jamma?
Slamma Jamma back in 1981, bro.
They have that talent to win something big. And I know there's other schools out there, but this team is not. They're a good team, man.
You can't sleep on them. You can't sleep on them. I think they would be the hands down favorite to take the tournament this year. But I got a little wrench to throw in there too, because you're talking about defense and who's a top two defending team in the country right now. And I know you both, when I say it, you both be like, "Oh, you a homer." But UCLA, bro, them boys are playing some defense and they're shutting down.
UCLA's front court is so deep, talented, and they got guards for sure. And
they do, bro. And they got two good big men. They're adequate. One of them is actually above adequate. That Bonner kid he's a flyer and he's a defender. Oh my God! And you're right. They go deep in the backcourt.
Right. And Cronin's teams don't seem very fun because he's just so disciplined, but his teams are always elite defensively, so they always going to bring it, especially in March Madness as far as defensively. UCLA is probably the best team ahead of Gonzaga, ahead of St. Mary's, and ahead of Arizona. Certainly,
they're definitely the best team in the West, right?
Easily.
They should, if they win the conference, they should get the number one seed in the West, correct?
Yeah.
What's their seed? What's their seed? What's their current seed right now?
They don't have any seeds, but they're ranked number 4 in the country behind Houston, Alabama, and
if you're top 4,
is it Kansas?
Yeah, it might be Kansas. If you're top 4 though, and you win out, you're locked. You're out of lock for sure. Yeah, they would be locked for sure.
Sacramento, remember, guys, places that they're going to be at this year is what? Sacramento. I think they're going to
Yeah,
host.
bro, but there ain't no place to stay down there. I already done looked into that one, bro.
I know they're going to play in Seattle this year, right?
I got some
They're gonna host
family
a couple
down there. We
games.
might be able to kick it with them, but I don't know. I got to hit them up. I've been trying to contact one of my cousins, and he ain't. I know he knows that I want to come and stay with him, and he ain't responded. He ain't responded at all.
Amos, what do you think about Gonzaga this year? Do you think they make a big run?
Man, it's weird because with Gonzaga, they were always a Cinderella team, and then they went through a period where they were an easy out, first round, second round of disappointments, right? And then last like 5-6 years, that's really when they started like recruiting nationally, because now they recruit like big time now, right? They're getting like
Now they have kids from all over the country. Yeah,
all the country. But a lot of that was Tommy Lloyd, who just went to Arizona too. And so with that
right.
said, they've kind of fallen off a little bit. They've been kind of hot, cold. I know we talked about maybe a few weeks back. They made it to the championship game. A few years back? Versus what was it? North Carolina, right? They lost to North Carolina. Or no, was it Duke? Was it North Carolina or Duke?
North Carolina.
No, it was North Carolina.
It was the
It was North Carolina.
They lost North Carolina, and then since then they just kind of disappointment. And they've had so many returning guys like Timmons or Timmy. Is it Timmy or Timmons? Timmy, right?
Timmy.
And they have Strother, who's a first round guy too as well. And then like their guards are good, really good. They got a transfer from Kansas this year, but they don't seem like they have elite guards. And like I said, with Tommy Lloyd moving this year to Arizona, it just seems like their defense efficiency hasn't been nearly as good as they usually are. And so I would just say, Gonzaga still has the experience, man. He's been around for 8 years, it seems like, forever. But like you said, Efren, man, I'll never disagree with anyone that says March Madness is all about guard play, because it's always about guard play and defense. That I agree for sure. And I just don't know if Gonzaga has those guys that can just take over a game, like a Houston per se, like their type of guards. Also, Houston has one of the best young guys, big men as well too, a freshman. I'm spacing on his name,
Walker.
but
I think it's
Walker.
I think it's Walker.
Walker, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really good.
An African kid.
He's a lottery projected guy potentially. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year, Efren. I look forward to it, man. We'll talk again once they start.
Once a tournament, once the conference tournaments get going, we'll have to get a little deeper into it. So let me what was I gonna say? I know what I was going to say. So give me your number one seeds right now, as of the season right now. Give me your number one seeds.
Go ahead, Amos.
Well, I don't have it in front of me, so I can you give me? I know UCLA is number 4, obviously, right? We said Houston, that's 2.
It's Houston, Alabama, Kansas, and UCLA, and then Purdue is right behind them.
Yeah. Kansas, man, they that's a team you want to put money on just based off their history. They always go pretty deep. It's funny too, because if you guys remember Self, right? Self was just like because Self for a while would be an early out, and now it's the opposite. So I would honestly just say I'm gonna just make the cop out, Alan. I would say those 4 teams because I don't really see any of them losing. Like UCLA, for example. Nobody in the Pac-12 is beating UCLA other than Arizona, and I really like UCLA better. For example, Kansas, I trust them going deep. Houston, in that conference, I don't see anyone beating Houston. And who was that? Who was the last team we said?
UCLA.
Alabama is number 2.
Alabama, we haven't really mentioned them. The best current freshmen playing. They have a really good mix between veterans and young guys. Talent-wise, they might be even more talented than Houston. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make an easy cop out and pick those top 4. But I promise I'll have
the top 4 teams. Okay.
I promise I'll have better upsets come tournament time, though.
I got it.
So what happens if Alabama loses Miller? Do you think they can maintain? He's pretty much carried that team since the whole thing broke last week.
He's by far their best player, and as talented as they are, he's like you see the difference between him and the second best player, right? So no, I don't go on, but I'd also say
so they fall out.
But we haven't learned anything new, right, since then. So
right.
I can be continually playing.
Actually, so that's another thing. The coach was talking a little bit about the Bama team, and I just heard him make a statement about it's all on him. Like this is all on him right now, supposedly. But like like we've been talking about this kid from Alabama. Yes, he has been carrying that. I seen that Auburn game. Man, that kid's the truth, man. That kid can play defense, offense, can do everything you need him to do to win a game, man. So my top four, I'm gonna surprise you right here. I'm gonna go with of course with Houston, number 1 seed. I'm gonna go with Bama, even if they lose them, they're still gonna get a number 1 seed. My two
You think so?
yeah.
Okay.
My two bottom seeds, my two other number 1 seeds, I'm gonna have to go with Purdue. All year they've been playing good, and I know they've won, but their conference, man, that
Especially if they win that
Northwestern.
conference, bro.
I just see
Yeah, especially if they win that conference.
I see Minnesota beat Iowa, whatever. You know, you've been seeing these other
Right.
Iowa beat Indiana. You know, you're like, what the heck's going on?
Right.
So,
And
Didn't
that's
didn't Northwestern just beat Iowa State?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't pick Purdue. I mean, Purdue probably has the best player in the country right now, right? The 7-4 big. But yeah, to your point,
Did you see him last weekend?
He can
No.
play. Against Indiana, he can't play against what's his name? That other kid from Indiana, he's good, but the best player in
Davis?
No, Davis, the kid from Indiana.
Yeah,
The big-
Davis is the kid from Indiana. It's Dell Davis's son, actually.
That's
he's-
Davis' son?
yeah.
Dell Davis's son.
I did not know that.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I don't know. Yeah, they're both really good players, you know. But I just think the Big Ten though, it's deep, man. It's gauntlet to get through that.
Oh,
conference.
that's why I went
So
through Purdue. And sorry to kick out UCLA, sir, but I
you gonna
gotta
put
go with
Kansas
10.
in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
UCLA.
Okay.
The only
And
reason
I can see that. I think the Pac-12 is probably a weaker conference of those four. But let me ask you this though: Does the conference that Houston play in, does that hurt them?
yes, it does. It does hurt them because
So
it's
you
not.
It does, doesn't it? Don't you
It
think?
does.
I mean, when it comes time when they gotta play, a hungry team in the tournament, it might backfire on them.
Can you check? So if we check their regular season, they played against big teams this year.
They have played a
Yeah.
few. They have played a
I
few.
think that's what.
Power 5 teams.
Yeah, but I think that's what helps them out this year. That they played these big teams in the regular season and didn't have a regular easy season.
Okay. So my 4 ones would be obviously Houston, Alabama if the team stays together. I would throw UCLA in there, and then I would put Purdue over Kansas, only because of the way Kansas played early on in the conference.
Okay.
And so, like Amos said, historically, that's a college that you can pretty much bank on is going to make it to the Elite Eight. But I just think that their inconsistency, although the Big 12 was a strong conference this year, you got Baylor, TCU, Texas played well, A&M A&M's in the SEC though now, but
Virginia's been all right too.
Some of the traditional powerhouses like OK State and Oklahoma, they didn't do all that well this year, but they were still, in those big games, they still came to play. So, I think Kansas, after that run last year, I think they're probably going to have a letdown. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but I would say, to you guys when we were talking about Gonzaga early. I think they might be destined for a long run just because they had such a struggle in the conference this year, and they still put together a pretty good record. Traditionally that's a team that goes in with 1 or 2 losses into the tournament and then flops in the second or the third round. And
Right.
so I think that the hardship that they face this year is probably going to prepare them a lot more for the tournament. They've got the experience, and and to what Amos said about the recruiting now, they're actually getting guys from everywhere now. So I think that mix it's going to put them in the talk, as far as as far as maybe making the Final Four, Elite Eight, and and surprising somebody.
True. Well, like I said, man, that was a good conversation. And to end it, one thing I just had to say is, I'm watching the Suns play against the best team in the world, the Chicago Bulls, and we're losing. We're winning by 2, baby. KJ, you were right. They're not the front runners.
Hey,
the Bulls are.
I wanted to say a couple of things real quick before we get off, though, to the folks that have subscribed and the folks that are following us, and I know most of those people are people that we actually know and work with. But if there's anything that you guys want to see us, hear us talk about, put it in the comments. Let us know any of your thoughts. I would be really interested to hear what some of you have to say about this whole Brandon Miller situation and now Jalen Carter with Georgia. And then we can, maybe we can dive deeper into some of those conversations. We did have a conversation last year, but it ended up being a shouting match because I got pissed off. And I want to apologize to you guys for that. And I'll try to, reel that in a little bit so that I don't, get too excited about it. But I'd love to hear, what you guys think and feel about that whole situation. All right.
No, that's good ideas. I'll just say one little thing. I want to spoil you guys and our audience too. Anyone who wants to watch next week too. There's one subject I want to bring up next week, and we won't talk about right now, but we will bring it up next week, and we will argue it tough. It's the old end tradition saying you've all heard. Would the best college football team beat the worst bottom dweller NFL team? All right. And I'll just say some of us may think one way, some of us may think another way. And I can't wait to talk about it because I have a lot to say about it. I know Efren is just can't wait.
He's probably foaming at the mouth right now. But let's go even a little bit further, Amos. So why don't you think about this over the next couple of days, and then you give us the best college team and then the worst pro team, and then we'll go at it from there. Okay?
Yeah, that would be my baby, man. I know Efren will. If Efren just act like it's a LeBron James conversation, man, that'll get you excited. It'll get you excited, man. So yeah, sounds good, man. It's been a great, man. Great talk, guys.
Yeah, it was actually a great night of conversation, guys. And we actually were able to keep it within a time frame too, so that's actually kind of nice.
Well, I said you guys have.
So why don't
night.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and end it for us, E? Since you started it, why don't you go ahead and end it?
Like I said, it's been good. Shout out from out here in Cali. Hope you guys are staying dry out there because I know I was in nothing but sun today. But hey, guys, the Sports Bros. Keep on subscribing. Anything you guys want to talk about, let us know. And Amos, I am looking forward for that next week. I got a lot of things to say about that, especially if you're a Bears fan. Yeah, I'm saying a Bears fan. Yeah,
guys.
Subscribes.
Oh, we know he's talking. Yeah, we know who he's talking about, man. He gives me.
We know. He got something for AJ, bro.
Super late, man. I get my Efren stories from AJ, man. I know I'll get a good Efren story from AJ, man, if I see him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We look forward to seeing you guys next week.